is fully vaccinated. That's up just a tick from 63.7 last week. Hospitals are literally turning people away. There are very limited resources and they're being stretched. We're going to be at 1,390 statewide hospitalizations today. That's up from only 260 on July the 1st. That was barely 3 weeks ago. Most major hospitals are shutting down elective procedures, and they are overwhelmed with people who are waiting in the ER. You could be waiting in an inpatient bed for hours, if not days, at this point. We are seeing numbers right now as bad as they were in March and April, and this should scare you. This potentially is going to get worse before it gets better. The main thing you can do right now is to mask up. We want you to hear this. We want you to be startled. We want you to go get your vaccine if you haven't already. If you have not yet received a vaccine and this shocks you into finally doing it, you go get that, that's great. That helps us. But it doesn't help us for another 6 weeks. And we don't have 6 weeks. So right now, the message, of course, get your shot if you haven't, but for God's sake, wear a mask. The only way this gets better, the only way we save lives, is if everyone masks up and if everybody gets their shot. With that, I'm going to move on to a couple more announcements, and then we'll take some questions. As an update from Metro, they reported this morning that they are still working to complete outstanding Monday routes as they transition to Tuesday routes today. They do have 4 extra trucks from the outside supporting those collections. Right now, it is not clear if they're going to hit their target of being back on track fully by the end of the month. That is due, again, to COVID. They had a COVID outbreak among their staff last week, which threw them off track. They were making solid progress to getting back right under the regular collection route. They did have a setback as a result of a COVID infection with their team, but they're working diligently to get back there. Right now, it's not clear if they're going to hit that target, but we're certainly hopeful, and we're working with them to make sure that that happens. The team is meeting with Jimmy Woods this morning to offer support and get an update from him. When we get more, I'll let you know. That's it I have for now. Well, actually, no, a couple more announcements. Sorry, guys. Real quick, the Office of Workforce Development and the New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund, the NOTCF, are starting a partnership to use office space at the Job One Career Center to provide technical assistance to cultural industries and culture bearers that are looking to get grants. So short version, NOTCF is teaming up with Job One to help connect culture bearers to grant opportunities. The operating hours for the NOTCF program at Job One are from Monday to Thursday from 9 till 5. That's at 3400 Tulane. For more information, you can go online to notcf.com. A couple more announcements and then we will take questions. Later this week, Mayor Cantrell is going to be at a groundbreaking ceremony for a statue renovation project. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m., St. Bernard Avenue. And there'll be another groundbreaking ceremony this Friday for the Wilcox Academy New Child Care Center. There's also going to be a press conference tomorrow morning. Mayor Cantrell, the Office of Transportation, are going to be out here talking about the launch of the Blue Bikes program. That's actually going to be not in this room. It's going to be over at 1340 Porter Street, and we'll have a media advisory go out on that. And with that, we can move to questions.
Yesterday, the mayor in New York City announced that all city workers will have to be vaccinated or have to take a negative test every week. In the
Right.
state of California, it's the same. Is that on the table for the city of New Orleans?
Absolutely.
To start requiring people who work in public government to get vaccinated?
As you've heard the mayor say, everything is on the table, but specifically right now, in the moment that we're in, that's certainly something we're actively considering. I can't say that that's something we're pulling the trigger on today, but it's absolutely on the table.
Well, this weekend, some of the big events are starting to come back in the Superdome. There's a monster truck show. Is the city satisfied with the current advisory, or what would it take for you all to amp that up?
I will say, I think we're continuing to look at it. We're continuing to look at it. There's no changes that we're announcing right now. A lot of the events that we're talking about, the red dress run, that kind of thing, are outdoors, which has a different level of risk, so we're less concerned about that. Right now, there are no changes that are coming to the capacity limits, but we do really want to be very forceful about this. People need to wear a mask if they're in a public space, particularly if they're in a group setting in an indoor space. And again, for God's sake, get your vaccine.
WGNL. Fox 8 asked my question.
Fox 8?
CDC is coming out with some guidelines today. It appears, are you getting any guidance on what they are going to announce, and do you expect it to differ from anything that the city has enacted?
I don't. So this is a situation where, again, from the beginning of the pandemic, you've seen multiple instances where under Mayor Cantrell's leadership, the city has really been out front on mitigation efforts. So to the degree that the CDC were to come out today and advise masks for indoor settings, that's something we did last week. We're certainly welcome that, and we encourage everyone to follow suit.
You mentioned about the rise in cases from 99 to 209. Are the numbers following the national trend? Are most of those unvaccinated
Yeah.
people?
Yes, they are. But there are breakthrough cases because unfortunately at this scale and at this speed, the way that it's spreading so quickly, there are more opportunities for even vaccinated individuals to encounter more of the virus and as a result potentially have those breakthrough cases. We do know that those that are vaccinated are having much less serious outcomes, which is another good reason to get the shot. But yes, by and large, it's the unvaccinated that we're seeing the infections in.
WWL, anything? Advocate?
How many of those cases are breakthrough cases?
I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I'm happy to email them to you later. I'd need to hook up with the health department to get that.
WGNO?
Does the city have any more plans to ramp up vaccine efforts? I know you guys are saying get your vaccines. Get your
Right, yeah.
What are the plans?
What we've been doing all along. I mean, I don't know what we can do that we haven't been, but we're certainly open to whatever those options might be. We're going to do everything in our power. We have been pretty consistently doing that. So when we say ramp up, we've been doing everything we can to get needles in arms since we got the vaccines. We're going to continue to do that.
Foxy?
Do you know if the vaccination rate has increased in the city of New Orleans?
As I said, my understanding is it ticked up about 1% from last week. Let's see, I had that in front of me just a second ago. Yeah, we went up from 63.7 fully vaccinated to 64.4, so not even a whole percent.
64 fully vaccinated.
64.4 fully vaccinated.
Okay.
Right.
The issue?
But another, I hate to break the
Yeah.
current topic here.
No.
Quarter for quarter in the French Quarter right now.
Yep.
Where do things stand? That was a big topic. Where do things stand?
Yeah, so it's been quiet on that for a minute. The current state of play regarding the CEA between the city and the FQMD on the quarter for the quarter is that it's dead in the water. That's due to the French Quarter Management District. Every time we get near an agreement, there's a situation where the goalposts get moved. Now, as you know, the quarter for the quarter sales tax was supposed to start getting collected on July the 1st. That did not happen because no resolution was passed that would actually levy the tax. That's a mechanical piece that has to happen for the tax to start getting collected. They ran into some problems with their ballot language and some carve-outs for hotels, as I understand it. But the inside baseball stuff aside, the bottom line is that residents in the quarter are not getting the resources that they should be because an unelected, unaccountable body does not have its stuff together. That's why at every step you've heard the administration advocate for resisting putting taxpayer dollars in the hands of an unelected group that has no oversight. And right now you're seeing the results of that. We're working really hard to get that done and we anticipate having it happen. But the delay here is a situation where this outside entity that again is unelected and is receiving taxpayer dollars has caused a delay that is creating a delay in services. I won't say they're making the quarter less safe, but certainly we want to see those security forces deployed, and this is a holdup right now.
Other questions? Foxy?
Where do we stand with municipal auditorium right now?
There's no update on that. Nothing has moved since the last time we spoke about that.
Is the city considering putting the $38 million into just renovating it as an auditorium?
I am not privy to what the latest version of that is. My understanding is nothing has moved since the last time the mayor discussed it publicly.
Has the mayor challenged the people in the
The mayor did meet with stakeholders who had obviously made their opposition to the city hall move very clear, and she did. She challenged them to, in a 90-day window, come back to me with an alternate plan, because there's been obviously, we want to make sure that people are being heard from and people are being engaged. These individuals that have come forward, it's very easy to just say no to something, right? When you come home and say, no, not that, not that. Okay, well, what is the alternate plan? What is the other path forward? And we're eager to see that.
Other questions? Foxy?
In terms of securing the building, Bo, a lot of people are saying, broken windows, the roof's leaking.
Sure.
What can you say about just the status of the building and city efforts to just try and keep
That
it?
there's certainly a lot of needs over there, and that's something that we're aware of. We're going to do whatever we can to make sure that it's taken care of appropriately. But the long-term issue of potentially having municipal auditorium fall to demolition by neglect, that was part of the initial plan of potentially moving City Hall over there. Since that plan is not going to move forward, we are looking for alternatives.
All right. Thank you. Oh, Foxy. I'm sorry, not Foxy. Advocate?
It seems like some of the streets are starting to reopen around Plaza Tower.
Yeah.
Is there any timeline now for when?
No, as I understand it, it's basically as open as it's going to be until they're completely finished. So they've reduced that footprint down as far as they can. There are a couple of segments that are still impassable, but by and large, the overall traffic in that area has opened back up. And that's going to be the status until they've completely wrapped that project.
Last question, WGNO.
I'm good.
You good?
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate you.
Thank you all.